right, nice and dry. Pre-float's ready to put a pan on. We'll use mastic on the curb. We'll use either a silicone or a butyl rubber on the drain flange, which I'll show you a little bit later when I get doing that, and a pan glue on the corners. And you just want to take this top flange off. I like to give it a little spin, kind of opens up some of the sand around the outside just so I can vacuum it out easily. So basically, this is the top flange. Your grate will go here, tile flushes with that. Pan liner will go in here, and it'll actually go all the way into the inside of this ring here. I'll clean this bottom flange up real well. I'll hit it with a little bit of acetone. I'll scrape it and make it nice and clean so that the butyl rubber bonds good. Vacuum that all up and we'll get going. All right, so this is a dowel pan. It's from Daltile. Home Depot makes them, Lowe's makes them, lots of other companies make this type of pan. It's a PVC rubber. There's all sorts of different glues, but as long as you get the PVC sheeting glue, that's what you'll use for your corners. You can use 100% silicone. You can use butyl rubber for the drain. These are the corners. You have two corners, one on each side. Some showers have multiple corners and seats and everything else, but they'll all be done exactly the same. I measured the pan inside and cut it outside so that I don't have to trim off too much when I get in there. All right, I got the pan in here. Got your staple gun. You're gonna go ahead and put very minimal staples, but a couple up at the top just to hold it in. Another important thing, make sure you have backing, blocking, some type of wood blocking all the way around. It gives it some support on the back. Don't make any cuts in any of the back corners or anything. Just keep them nice and full. This back corner will go ahead and basically fold up nice and tight up into that corner there. Staple in just like that, be out of the way. And there's the shower drain that we'll cut around. Get to that here in a minute. Be using mastic on the curb to glue it down. No staples anywhere on the curb, inside of the curb. Outside of the curb, it's okay. Put a couple if you need to with the lath later. But no staples here. Water will leach down through the tile grout and make this rot just like the last one was. All right, got the holes cut out. Basically what you want to do is you want to cut out the inside ring and then where the bolts are. This particular drain, it comes with a two-part kit. The bottom part was in good enough shape, meaning the bolts came right out. They weren't all deteriorated. Sometimes if the bolts don't come out, we'll just replace the whole drain. But in this situation, we don't need to. We'll just do the top. It'll be a nice new grate instead of the old one. But the bottom looks a little gunked up, but it's in good shape. So basically what you're gonna wanna do is start out with the bead right around the inside. And I like to go all the way around the outside. And then I always just do on the sides of the screw holes, just to make sure no water's ever able to leach out in that section. And then we'll just fold the pan down. We'll go ahead and put the top flange on. We'll continue on this. One other thing to keep in mind, when you put this drain down, the bolt holes line up, but they also will line up if you spin it this way. Those bolt holes line up. But look at the screws for the top grate. So that's your decorative grate that's going on there. And if you were to do that, then your screw holes, that's just a protective coating on there, but your screw holes would be not symmetrical in the shower. So always make sure you line up the bottom bolts, taking into account what direction the grate's going. And that way you can have them symmetrical. You can either have them going this way or this way. Just something that bugs me when I see the screw holes not straight with the walls of the shower. So all we gotta do now is we'll put the screws in and then we'll tighten them down. All right, so we got that top flange bolted down, and you'll be able to see that the silicone is coming out all the way around. That's always a good sign that the pan liner is sealed to that bottom flange. And you want to just go ahead and clean it up in there so that you don't have any sealant going down the drain or anything like that. And I like to actually take some black spray paint, and I'll spray paint the pipe and the plastic liner down there so that when you're looking down your drain, you don't see anything that looks bad. So here is the outside corner of the dam. I'm working on the other side, but basically looks like that. And what I'll do, some guys will go all the way down below the dam edge and slice it. I do not like doing that. I just like the thought of having no splices in the pan if possible. So what I'll do is I'll fold it just like that, similar to what the back corners are doing, but those are tucked back. And then I'll take my knife and I'll cut it off right flush with the top of this curb, so that no matter what, if the water fills all the way up to the top of the curb, there are no knife marks or splices down below, and those are always possible leak. So see, I sliced it right where the curb is, and then what I'll do is I'll take it straight back and cut a nice straight line from there. And then I like to fold this over, cut this off. And I like to slice a little bit of this off, always making sure not to cut the top of the curb. And then basically that's what you'll end up with. A nice corner. And then you'll be able to glue your corner on, just like that. And then you have absolutely no way of any water, even if the pan fills all the way up to the top of the dam, it'll start running over onto your floor out here before it will leak. So that's the proper way to do the corner. One other quick thing, the drywall and dent shield and stuff in here, it's just a patch in. All this, you know, even down here, this is all going to be covered with another layer of, on this particular project, dent shield, a whole nother layer of dent shield over this entire thing. All the seams will be siliconed, and then there will be red guard, so this will be a 100% waterproof shower, even though it looks a little rough right now. And then we do mortar floats. This particular one we are doing dent shield. It's a time frame deal. Don't have time to float it today, so we're gonna go ahead and dent shield, red guard, and get setting. Still same warranty, lifetime warranty on everything. So real quick, we'll go ahead and glue this corner on. So that's the shower pan glue. Okay, so we have mastic. It'll say tile adhesive, but it's mastic. 1/4 inch, and that just helps to hold the curb in all nice and tight. That way, some guys will put staples, which is not good at all. So just gonna go ahead and fold this over. pan to make sure the mastic grabs that pan material nice and tight. Take a knife and cut off the excess. And then you don't have any reason to put any staples at all in your pan curb. And we'll go ahead and glue these corners. Real simple. You spread the mastic. I try not to get too much gunked up around here so it doesn't argue with the pan glue. Same glue. Check it one more time. Get your corner. Make sure it doesn't have any issues. You don't need a whole lot, but you'll put it on both surfaces. I put a little back and there and even inside there. Put a little under this flap too, let that go. I'll put a little bit on my corner. I'm making a mess today. Just make sure it's on the whole surface. Take this, clean up a little bit. Not that it matters, but basically have it on both sides. This stuff starts kicking off real fast, so you don't have too much time. About the time I spent right there is the most you'll ever want to let it sit without doing something. I like to let it tack up just a minute like I did. Not slop it on right away. If you let it tack up just for a quick second, it'll lock on a lot better. To hold it just for a couple seconds. There you go. Nice and tight. You can keep an eye on it. It'll stay pliable once it's in this mode for a minute. If you see a little bubble come out or corner not wanting to stick, just come back and push on it a little. But that'll hold up. Got nice tight corners in the back. Go ahead and do that side, and then we'll put a plug in there, fill it up with water, let it sit 24 hours. There are a couple codes. We're in California, so they want the actual pan to come up 3 inches from the top of the curb. And they also want the top of your curb to be a minimum of 2 inches above the top of this dam, which makes no sense because when we do roll-on handicap showers, there is no curb. But that was the latest from the code book here. So we do it, and we'll fill that up. We'll come back tomorrow, put a bunch of dent shield on, get it all waterproofed. Be good to go.